On weather day here in Pittsburgh. There are scattered showers all around the ballpark. About 40 minutes ago, the skies opened up. They had to cover up the field again. And we're hopeful of getting at least 5 innings in without interruption as the Braves and Buccos meet in Game 2 of our 3-game series. Nonetheless, it's a very comfortable day for a ball game. Let's see if the Braves can get some comfort in the batter's box. Runs have been tough to come by. And Freddie Gonzalez, after resting a few of his regulars last night, has his A lineup in there today. Again, the Academy Sports and Outdoors starting 9 is without Freddie Freeman. That means Joey Todosilovic gets the start for the Braves at first base. Peterson, Maben, Markakis, Przinsky, the top 4. Juan Uribe hit a homer here last night. He's the 5th place hitter. And Julio Teheran would love some early run support against former Brave Charlie Morton, who, despite getting clobbered last time out, Joe, is pitching very well for the Pirates.
Yeah, take a look at this. This is what is key for Charlie. 60% ground balls for outs. I mean, it's second only to one guy, Dallas Keuchel. If Charlie's up in the zone, which he was against the Nationals, then he's going to get hit hard. However, the 2 starts prior to that 2/3 of an inning outing against Washington, he had thrown shutout baseball. He'd thrown 14 consecutive shutout innings pitched. So he goes out there against Washington, can't get the ball down, and he got rocked.
And I got to tell you, the way the Pirates played defense last night, I would pitch to contact too and let Josh Harrison take over. He had an unbelievable game defensively, and he anchors the Pirates defense at third base. Mercer, Walker, and Alvarez around the horn. Francisco Cervelli's behind the plate, making, as we said last night, go get him in the outfield. This is a terrific young athletic outfield for the Pirates. Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco left to right.
Josh Harrison's got his magic shoes on again too.
Does he really?
Yes. I don't blame him. I would never take them off.
There they are.
Those are different.
Yeah, a little less yellow on them. Well, last night the Pirates had different uniform tops, so those perhaps clash with the home white uniform of the Pirates.
You got it right. Fashion statement. Charlie Morton's 31 years old now, 6'5", 235 in his 7th year. Originally a 3rd-round pick by the Braves in 2002.
Got to get Jace Peterson going. It's been a rough road trip for him. Jace is 0 for his last 17 at the plate,
with 8 strikeouts.
And as you heard Jim Turdinich, the fine Pirates media coordinator, bellow on the loudspeaker, it's 75 degrees. Gentle breeze blowing out toward the bullpens. And pitch Jace is grounded foul. It's 1-2. When I woke up this morning and looked out the window, I thought there's no way we're playing today.
No shot.
I mean, even the frogs were hopping around with umbrellas. That's how much water was coming down in downtown Pittsburgh.
That's wet.
It was awful. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that fouled away off Cervelli behind the plate, and Jace is still alive.
Fastball, sinking fastball in the low 90s, upwards maybe 93, tops out about 93. That sinker and a curveball and a change.
And that just missed inside. It's a full count. Charlie was very vocal about where he is in his comeback. He had the hip impingement surgery that Devin Mesoraco is about to have for Cincinnati. Same injury that Troy Tulowitzki had. And he tried to pitch through the pain, and in doing so really altered his mechanics, he said. When we saw him in Atlanta and he beat the Braves, ran his record to 3-0 after that start, he felt like his mechanics were where they should be pre-surgery. Little tapper over the mound. That's a tough play. And Walker won't be able to make it. It's an infield hit for Jace Peterson, and a good start.
That's what it takes. A little nubber like that to get out of a bad dry spell. He may be 0 for his last 17, but today he's 1 for 1. And a chance for the Braves to get on the board early if they can put some hits together.
And for Charlie Morton, maybe he's thinking, uh-oh, here we go again. After an awful first inning against Washington. But to finish the point on Morton, Joe, he said he had to really unlearn some bad habits in his return from injury. We'll see how he fares today with a 5-1 record. Cameron Maybin back in the lineup. He's got 8 hits against the Pirates this year. A couple of RBIs for the Braves center fielder.
To your point, Chip, the same could be said for why the Braves put Williams Perez on the disabled list. They don't want to take any chances with him altering his mechanics to favor that sore left foot after he was struck by the line drive. They'll give him every opportunity to get that well.
And in case you didn't see Christina Fitzpatrick's report on Braves Live, Braves placed Williams Perez on the disabled list today. They brought up Jake Brigham from the minor leagues. And we don't know who will start for the Braves on Thursday.
Just watching Jace down there. He's trying to shake mud off his hands from his dives back to first. They had cleared the field. They'd rolled up the tarp, and about 30 to 45 minutes ago it came a gully washer, and they had to cover the field real quick, but the field got wet again. So kudos to the ground crew for all the hard work they put in today to get this game going, but it's going to be really soft and wet.
Sharply hit to short, and it's an easy double play for the Pirates. Ground ball outs. Charlie Morton gets the Braves to hit into their 4th double play of the series already, and 2 are out for Nick Markakis. Nick at 296. No homers, 21 knocked in. To the naked eye, when I watch Charlie Morton pitch, I see Roy Halladay. Slight hip turn, 3/4 slot delivery. His record is a lot like Roy Halladay's was in his great days in Toronto and Philadelphia. 5-1.
I was talking to Nick today about his neck surgery and how long it had been. It was in December, so he's well past the 6-month mark. And I said, how do you feel like, what did it do for you? And he said, well, I don't have any neck pain anymore, and my neck's not stiff, so that's the good part of that. And now it's about regaining strength, but that's hard to do during the season. He said it's almost impossible to get stronger during the season, especially when you play every day. And I said, do you believe in doing weights during the season? He said, on occasion, but not every day. When I'm playing every day, you gotta conserve some energy.
Base is empty, full count pitch. It's fouled away. It's still a full count. Nick has 6 hits on the road trip, but was 0 for 4 last night. And a shot to right field with 2 outs. That's his 2nd hit of the year against the Pirates. And it comes here in the 1st inning and brings up A.J. Brzezinski.
Well, it was a rope. 92 fastball. Outer third of the plate. Double play looming big right now for Charlie Morton.
A.J. Brzezinski at 263 for the year. Having a nice comeback month in June after a 142 batting average in May. A.J.'s hitting 265 this month. And that's fouled back to the screen. Brzezinski got the night off last night. Boy, were the Braves impressed with the work of Ryan LaVarnway behind the plate yesterday.
Yeah, I noticed it 2 starts ago that he got to catch that. It seemed like he never hardly even had to get out of his crouch, even though pitches weren't right down the middle. He's just very smooth, good hands, makes it look easy. Eddie Perez really raving about him this morning.
He was really excited about the work Lavarnway has done defensively already with the Braves. And he reached base twice and drove in a run last night. Shot by Brzezinski. That's headed for the right field corner. Nick around second, on his way to third. Polanco's got to dig it out of the corner. Markakis is coming around. Here's the throw to the plate. It's on target, and it's going to be in time. Polanco dug it out in right. He hit the cutoff man, and a strike to Cervelli erases Markakis at the plate. Chance to challenge the call at the plate, and he has elected to do so.
Take a look at Nick's left hand. It hits the plate before his body hits the ground, and the tag is like on the chest. It's not on that arm. Now, live action from our vantage point, I thought he was out too, but I couldn't see where his hand was. You see the tag is like on the hip, and I think his hand hit the plate before the glove hit the hip.
John Tumpain is the home plate umpire, and the initial call was out. So there's got to be evidence to the contrary for this call to be overturned and the Braves to score the game's first run.
And I think that first angle was the best one to show the hand hitting the plate. And you can't blame Freddie for trying, because this would be a run and a runner at third and 2 out if it's overturned. See, threw his glove across real early, and Nick wasn't there yet. So Nick did slide into the glove, but not before his hand hit the plate.
And it's only a guess, but I'm guessing Freddie would not challenge that Cervelli did not allow Markakis a lane to score. It appeared he had that. So this is strictly whether or not the tag was applied before Markakis' hand touched the plate.
There's a replay from our high first camera position where he looks real out. But that's because you can't tell where the tag is applied. See, I'm seeing that tag missing his arm and hitting him in the hip, and the hand hits the plate.
Braves need runs any way they can get them. They've scored 15 runs in their last 8 games. And this is a big momentum swing call as we await word from Replay Central in New York. It's a tough call. That's what I think is going to hurt the Braves in this case. I don't know if there's an angle that's going to be filled with enough evidence to overturn the out call at the plate. So it looks like they have their decision, and the decision is he's out. So the call on the field stands. A.J. Brzezinski with a double. Markakis out at the plate, and the Pirates are coming up in a scoreless game. To score as Markakis thrown out 9-4-2 to end the top of the inning. Here's a look at the Pirates starting lineup. Josh Harrison will lead off their Academy Sports and Outdoors 9 with Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen, Starling Marte, Pedro Alvarez, and Francisco Cervelli the first 6. Jordy Mercer had his 3rd career walk-off hit last night. They'll face Julio Teheran, who pitched a 1-hitter last time out.
Two struck out 5.
Sharply hit right to Uribe, who was even with the bag, and he takes care of his third base counterpart, Josh Harrison, with 1 pitch. It was smoked. Good play, 1 out.
There's his line Sunday against the Mets. Only 78 pitches. That was also a bonus because he was really aggressive in that game. Hopefully he's gotten that out of his system that he thinks he ought to be a sinker baller. Because that wasn't working.
Neil Walker, the batter, 1 for 3 last night. And he takes a ball low. When you look at this Braves team, there's some pitchers with very dramatic home road splits. Julio Teheran is one of them. He's been very good in Atlanta. He struggled mightily away from Turner Field. And broken bat shot into center field by Walker. And he's aboard with 1 out. Walker missed a handful of games with a stomach ailment. He's now 4 for 14 since he took those 4 games off. And here's McCutchen. Like the Pirates in April and May, McCutchen started slowly. He is coming on like a man possessed. He's hitting .337 in June. And he jumped all over a first pitch fastball from Jason Grilli last night.
And as their players said, we know how Jason operates. We know that he likes to get ahead with the first pitch strike, and they were all ready for that.
A swing and a miss for McCutchen. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the first.
McCutchen by far has the best numbers of anybody in the lineup against Teheran. 5 for 12 with a couple of homers. But Julio 2-0 lifetime against him, a 3.29 ERA and a 2.08 average against him by their team. Great numbers.
And McCutchen got hit again. He got plunked last night. And that one smarted.
He doesn't have one of those elbow guards on. Boy, that got right by the belt and right on the point of the elbow. And I'm sure everything went numb.
He might raid Jose Tabata's locker and get that elbow guard. It was such a source of controversy when the Pirates played the Nationals. And is that going to knock McCutchen out of the game? Wow.
91-mile-an-hour fastball. It may knock him out of the game. Wouldn't surprise me either to see him come right back up the stairs and go to first. Nope.
So Jung Ho Gong is going to pinch run for McCutchen, who's knocked out of the game on a hit batsman in the bottom of the first inning. So the guess is that Gong will stay in the game and play the infield, and Harrison will move to the outfield. We'll see how Clint Hurdle aligns him as Starling Marte's the batter. 2 on, 1 out. And downstairs, ball 1. I recall things got a little testy between the Braves and Pirates back in Atlanta. That was the game pitched by Garrett Cole. He hit a couple of Braves batters in that game. Braves threw behind McCutchen as this ball is hit into left field, a base hit. Here comes Walker around third. They're going to wave him. Kelly's throws on target. It's late. It gets by Przinsky. And on the ricochet, the runners will move up 90 feet. Starling Marte's 46th RBI puts Pittsburgh in front.
This left field is so vast that you have to play deep. Kind of a flat slider there that he was able to jump on. And Rick Sofield, the third base coach, never hesitated. He was waving Walker around early because Kelly Johnson had a long way to come in to get that ball.
So Gong's at third, Marte's at second on the throw to the plate. And here's Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez knocked in 2 runs with a single last night. And that's off the plate.
Starling Marte is developing into one of the best players in the National League. He can do many things to beat you.
One ball, one strike.
And I'm talking about all-around ability, defense, arm, speed, power. Starling Marte has come a long way.
And he's still a baby, just 26 years old for the Pirates. 1-1 for the Pittsburgh first baseman Pedro Alvarez. Here it is. Didn't get it. A ball and 2 strikes.
Damage control right here for Julio. Make some good pitches. They got one. Try to prevent it from being 2 or 3.
Harrison made it out on the first pitch. A hard hit ball to third. Walker singled. McCutchen hit by a pitch. Marte singled to left to score Neil Walker. Now it's 2-2.
Did. Oh, good thing he didn't hit it.
Milwaukee signaled no swing, and now it's a full count.
I stand corrected. Got it stopped.
Swing and a rocket into right center field. That'll score 2. It's 3-0 Pirates. Alvarez on his way to second with a stand-up double.
A good fastball to hit. 92. Looked like it had the middle of the plate. Target was away, but the pitch was coming right to him, and you can see Julio's reaction to it. That's not what he wanted. He didn't mind walking him, and instead it's a 2-run double.
4th RBI of the series for Pedro Alvarez, who now has a 5-game hitting streak. And now you've got to face Francisco Cervelli, who's got the best batting average of any catcher in the game. He's at .302. And a liner over second. That's in for a hit. Alvarez around third. He's getting the green light. He's going to score without a throw. And the Pirates are rolling.
We talked last night about their first pitch proficiency. These guys like to jump on you on the first pitch whenever they can. And you talked about a guy who has really made a mark offensively with this team in the absence of Russell Martin. So Cervelli's really done a good job. First pitch of a plate appearance. Highest team OPS, Pittsburgh Pirates. The highest in baseball. Braves have done a good job too. But these guys are at the top.
And those are our Home Depot tools from the dugout. 6 Pirates have batted so far in the inning. 4 of them have scored. Tehran not the same guy after the hit batsman. And this is Gregory Polanco, the Pittsburgh right fielder. The Pirates with 4 in the first. 20 pitches, 4 hits, and a hit batsman. It'll be 20 with this one for Tehran in the opening inning. And Brzezinski held it there, but Julio's not going to get the call. 5-pitch walk puts Polanco at first.
Well, the one thing that you can't let happen if you're Julio is you can't feel like, okay, this start's gone to pot. I've already given up 4. You got to bear down and cut this inning off and give your teammates a chance to catch up. His body language right now says nothing to anything close to what I just said.
When you face the Pirates, you worry so much about Marte and McCutchen and Alvarez. Maybe overlook Jordy Mercer. The way he swung the bat against the Braves, that's a big mistake. Mercer is 6 for 18 this year against Atlanta pitching. He had 3 more hits last night, including his 3rd career walk-off hit, a game-ending double off the right field scoreboard. And the skies are beginning to darken here in Pittsburgh. Maybe a raindrop or two is beginning to fall. Little pop into center. That's going to drop for a hit. Maben plays it. Runner around third. The throw is up the first base line. Cervelli scores. Polanco all the way around to third. And that's 5 hits in the inning for the Pirates. And 5 runs are in.
That was a breaking ball, and one that looked like it hung up inside. It did, and they still took a little inside out swing at it and dropped it in. The bullpen is stirring.
Julio Tehran came in with a 7.17 road ERA. He's allowed 5 runs in the first inning and has 1 out. And Charlie Morton is the Pirates pitcher. He'll dig in next.
Well, Charlie Morton from his last start can tell Julio, nobody's going to feel sorry for you.
He gave up 9 in the first inning against the Nationals. Got 2 outs. And it has begun to rain again. Charlie pops it up on a bunt try, and it's in the Atlanta dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike. Charlie Morton, part of the Nate McLouth trade consummated between the Braves and Pirates a few years ago. Now the rain's really coming down hard. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a bunt. There'll be 1 play. It's to first. On the sacrifice, Mercer moves to second base, and there's the second out. And here's Harrison. He had a big cut, fouled it straight back.
The way this game has started, I'd be happy to try to break out my Cherokee Choctaw rain dance if that would help.
I thought you did that this morning. You obviously cut it off too soon.
Yeah.
This is the only trip the Braves make to Pittsburgh this year, so every effort will be made to get it in and avoid a doubleheader tomorrow. There is a scheduled off day for the Braves and Pirates on Monday, but the Pirates organization has a big charity event that they have scheduled, and they would hate to have to cancel that and force these two teams to stay over and play on Monday. No balls, 2 strikes for Harrison. AJ smothered that. Good stop. Man in the batter's box has more hits than anybody in the league since the middle of May. Harrison with 56 of them. And he swung at a bad ball, and that ends the inning. 10 men come to the plate, 5 score, but it was a costly big inning for the Pirates. They've lost Andrew McCutchen for the day. 5-0 Pittsburgh. Rain of base hits and runs fell on Julio Teheran. 10 men batted, 5 scored on 5 hits. And now Pittsburgh, a whole lot of changes. Jung Ho Kang is into play third base. That means Josh Harrison will move from third base to the outfield. In fact, he's in right now. Gregory Polanco moves from right to left, and Starling Marte is the center fielder. Braves need 5 to tie. They've scored 5 runs in their last 5 games. We're in the second inning. Juan Uribe leads off and takes a ball. It's 2-0.
We had some good swings off Morton in the first inning at 3 hits, but weren't able to get a run in because of the double play and the call that didn't go their way at the plate.
So let's see how Charlie Morton pitches with a big lead. He's been tough at home. He's undefeated on his home mound with a sub-1 earned run average. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Juan Uribe's got his average as a Brave at 300 now. He's hit 3 homers and has knocked in 9 runs. It's coming from the Dodgers, and Gong can't get it at third. It's a leadoff single for Uribe. Second time in as many innings the Braves have put the leadoff man on.
That's why I was talking about how important it was for Julio to try to cut the losses there in the first inning. Bear down, suck it up and try to finish the inning without giving up more and not get down on yourself, because Braves have had some luck against Charlie Morton. They certainly did in the first inning, and a good sign here in the second.
And for a staff that preaches pitching to contact, I think we just saw on that play that Gong is not nearly the defender at third base that Josh Harrison is. Cut him a little slack with the wet track. But Harrison might have had a chance to cut that ball off. He's now in right field. 0-2 for Kelly. He's got 5 hits and 10 tries on the trip. Kelly went around and knew it. He struck out. First strikeout for Charlie Morton. 1 on, 1 out for Joey Tadoslavich.
Good curveball. This rain now is like a real heavy mist. Sure, the grounds crew is keeping the umpires abreast of what is here and what's coming. The worst part, or the most important part actually, is the mound. You got to keep it dry for the pitchers. But this is getting very heavy right now.
Yeah. Ground ball to first. Alvarez has it, and I don't know if he felt comfortable throwing a wet baseball there.
May not have.
So with a big lead, took the out, gives up the base to Uribe. Anderson Simmons, the 8th place hitter, is going to stand in.
He had a short throw. He had a wide open lane to throw to Mercer, but thought better of it, and I think you're right.
So Uribe in scoring position for Andrelton Simmons. And he got hit. And now the warnings have been issued. Charlie Morton hits Andrelton Simmons. And Andrelton with a parting shot at Francisco Cervelli, and he'll make his way to first base. Braves hit Neil Walker last night. They've hit McCutchen in back-to-back games.
That was pretty obvious. Inside target, and then putting him in a place where he can't get out of the way. And I'm sure Cervelli's lobbying, hey, it's wet baseball. Right.
And this goes back to Garrett Cole in Atlanta. And for the Pirates, if they wanted retribution from a strategic standpoint, perfect spot to do it. Got the pitcher coming up next, 2 out in the inning.
Yeah, it was. I actually thought they would probably go after Julio.
No balls and a strike. And now 0-2.
Infield, by the way, is getting a little glassy in some spots.
Yeah. "5-0 Pittsburgh, a rainy afternoon." Told you the weather, the rain would be off and on all afternoon. It is on in full force right now. Looking at the top of the Pirates dugout from our vantage point, you can see the water puddling to the left of the Pirates script. Look at that. Try hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball with that distracting you at the plate. 0-2. And poked into the Braves dugout.
The gigantic front went through earlier this morning, but there are some trailing bands, and this is one of them. that we were told would be coming off and on for the rest of the day. Just a matter of what it does to the field.
Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Charlie Morton has a shutdown inning. He exacts a bit of revenge for the loss of Andrew McCutchen, and the Pirates are back to work in the second, 5-0. Second inning, nasty day in Pittsburgh. We continue to play on. The grounds crew for the Pirates applying the diamond dry to the shiny Pittsburgh infield. And we will try to continue as long as we can as the rain has lightened up just a bit. But it's going to be a long day for those men that man the grounds here at PNC Park. Bag after bag of that drying agent gets applied. How does that affect the infield play?
We're about to find out. But I can tell you this, it's so wet they can't get a tractor out to spread it. You know, they can't run the risk of putting ruts in the field, so they're hand carrying all the bags out and trying to do it in as quick a way as they can. But if they were to bring a tractor out there, it'd probably make ruts. It depends on what the drying agent is, and if it's loose on top, it makes it a little, I don't know, like not like marbles, but you know, you don't get real good traction with your spikes.
So while the grounds crew goes to work for the Pirates, Julio Teheran's not back out yet for his warm-ups for the bottom of inning number 2. So while we have a moment, we'll remind you to join us on the 4th of July weekend at Turner Field. The Phillies will be in town July 3rd, 4th, and Sunday the 5th. Great way to celebrate Independence Day is by experiencing Braves baseball and the best fireworks show in the Southeast. Go to Braves.com/tickets and plan your 4th of July trip to the ballpark today. The Phillies made big news yesterday, the resignation of their manager Ryne Sandberg. News today out of Philadelphia. Cole Hamels has apparently said he will now accept a trade to any team. He wants out. Whether the Phillies can accommodate him or not may be complicated by the fact that Andy MacPhail, who has long been rumored to be taking over the Phillies presidential position, may come on only as an advisor for the first couple of weeks and may not be in a position to make any deals. And Hamels has to show he's healthy. He had a hamstring problem a couple of starts ago. So nothing has gone right from the Phillies' perspective as they try to dramatically change the fortunes of what's been an awful last year or so.
I think Cole could probably make that happen pretty fast. Just knock off about $10 million off your contract, and I think there'd probably be some teams that'd be ready to take you on, probably even a contender if you're ready to do that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Cole Hamels, and frankly, who's going to manage the Phillies. Might have a new manager in place by the time they get down to Atlanta. We're a little late getting you our 4 keys to the game for Julio Teheran. I would think one of them would be don't give up 5 in the first.
No, we've got new ones. We had some. We've got to adjust a little bit. So bear down here and go 6. You know, we talk a lot about pitchers who get a big lead early, and you got to pitch like you haven't given up or you haven't gotten any support. Pitch the same way here if you're Julio. Pitch like you've got a 5-run lead and you can't give up any more runs. So try to go 6, save the bullpen a little bit, do your best to help out.
And hope your offense comes to life.
But don't go out there feeling sorry for yourself. Nobody else will. Got to get after it.
We'll keep an eye on the infield surface. Rain is all but stopped now. Still a lot of puddles, almost mud-like conditions behind Joey Todosilovic at the edge of the dirt infield in front of the right field grass. And some wet spots down the third base line behind Juan Uribe. Neil Walker, Jung Ho Gong, and Starling Marte are up for the Pirates. And a strike for Julio. Grounds crew also did a lot of work on the mound before Tehran came out for the inning. So the circle at the center of the diamond looks to be in pretty good shape. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to native Pittsburgher Neil Walker.
Yeah, the primary concern on the mound is that when the pitcher takes his stride, that he doesn't slide down the slope, that he's got good traction.
In the air to center. Cameron Maben will splish splash to his left and make the play. And Walker's retired for out number 1. Jung Ho Gong will bat for the first time. The reason he's in the game in the second inning is this pitch to Andrew McCutchen.
Held him on the back of the elbow, and he was not able to continue.
Gong pinch ran in the first and scored in the first, and he skies to straightaway center. Maven's got it. 2 outs. And Starling Marte's the batter, an RBI single. Might not know this, but Starling Marte enters play today with the 2nd most homers in the league among left fielders. He's hit 12 of them. Now he's playing center now, but he started in left today. Only Justin Upton of the Pirates has hit more homers as a National League left fielder.
This guy's really coming on, as I said before. I was looking at something at some of his numbers today, and in light of McCutchen getting hit today, how about this? In 2013, this guy was hit 24 times. Last year, he was hit 17 times. And this year already he's been hit 5 times.
Don Baylor and Craig Biggio, his favorite players.
Yeah, that's right. But I was anxious to see his stance at the plate because I thought he must be right on top of the plate with all those hit by pitches, but he's really not.
He just struck out on 3 pitches, and that takes care of the Pirates in the second. Good rebound inning for Julio Tehran. The top of the order goes to work for the Braves in Pittsburgh. Charlie Morton has a big lead, and Charlie Morton and the Pirates pitching staff, the subject of our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts.
Percentage of outs by way of ground balls, and the Pirates at the top of the list, well over 50%. The Braves 20th on that list at 45.5. But their staff of Liriano, Morton, and Locke, who we'll see tomorrow, along with Garrett Cole, and A.J. Burnett, who are both power pitchers, both have outstanding sinking fastballs too.
Jace Peterson skies one toward left. Gregory Polanco is back a few steps, makes the play, and there's out number one in the Braves' third. Well, the Pirates trying to make the playoffs for the third consecutive year. That's happened twice before in their franchise's history. 2013, the Pirates won 94 games, led the Cardinals in the playoffs 2-1, but lost the series. Last year, won 88 games, 51 of them at home, and then ran into Madison Bumgarner and the Giants in a one-game shootout. The frustrating thing for the Pirates is, as well as they're playing and as good as their ball club is, they cannot gain ground on the Cardinals. Pirates start play today 8 games out of first place. They'd be in first in our division, and they'd be a game out in the National League West.
Cardinals are better, and they continue to play better. There's just no let up, no matter who gets hurt, how many guys are out of their lineup or rotation.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing for St. Louis. No Wainwright, no Matt Holliday, no Adams. Lynn spent some time on the disabled list in rotation, but Mike Matheny's club just keeps on chugging along.
I think John Jay did too, didn't he?
Might be right.
I think so.
2-2 pitch. And that's lifted toward Harrison in right. Long run. He's not going to get there, and Maben will hustle on to second, and he'll slide in safely. The ball gets away, and he's going to try to take third. Polanco's throw to third is late, and the ball dropped anyway.
Keep going. Just run till they tag you.
I was worried he was going to stick on those 2 slides and not get to the base. But it's a double for Maben, and he takes third on an error.
And the error will be on Josh Harrison for this throw that got by and allowed him to move to third. Polanco was backing up. He just couldn't get it over there in time.
So man at third for the Braves with 1 out. Nick Markakis the batter. Like the Pirates, he likes to swing at the first pitch in run scoring situations. Let's see what Morton gives him early in the count. And Nick likes hitting in this ballpark. That's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Now, good numbers here. Just under a 400 average. Good hook. One that you tend to give up on as a hitter.
In the air to center field, and Markakis drives home the first run of the day for the Braves. So he keeps up his good work at PNC Park. That's Nick's first RBI since June 17th. It's his 22nd of the year, and the Braves are on the board.
I didn't realize that. But a lot of time left in this ball game. A lot of at bats left. Good hustle by Maben, set all that up. That's, again, goes back to Julio. Put the clamps on him.
Brzezinski doubled his first time up. And the hook missed. 1 ball, no strikes. A favorable ballpark for left-handed sluggers. It's 320 feet down the right field line. Very high wall, 21 feet high, to honor Pirate great Roberto Clemente. A shot by Przinsky into right field. A clean single. That's 3 hits in a row for Atlanta after one man was out. And the Braves are racking up their hits on Morton. That's 7 in the game already. That'll bring up Juan Uribe, our T-Mobile game changer.
Almost the same number of games with the Braves that he had with the Dodgers before the trade, but no comparison in the numbers. And he's already got a base hit today.
A double and 2 singles for the Braves with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Uribe has one of Atlanta's 7 hits. That came at the start of the 2nd inning.
And he had a single, a walk, and a home run last night.
Remember, he had a long hitless streak that ended with a blue pit. That's gotten him going. A long one here would be really nice. Popped up. Who wants it? It'll be Harrison in shallow right. Uribe pops out. 2 are out for Kelly Johnson.
Pirates have played well at home. They're 10 games over 500 at home, but a lot of that's against the National League East. They are 10-0 at home against the National League East.
The Pirates need to improve. It's against their own division. Tough to win your division when you're under 500 against the clubs you see the most, and that's the fate of Pittsburgh right now. The Cardinals are 20-8 against the Central. The Pirates are only 14-20 against the rest of the Central. 2 quick strikes for Kelly and pulled out of play.
Kelly's getting a steady diet of changeups. You already know that he's a good fastball hitter, so they're throwing him a pitch that looks like a fastball coming out of a pitcher's hand, but is dying at the plate, and he's really off balance, out on his front foot, and it's getting him in a hole in the count where he's got to shorten up, protect a little better.
That was almost a beautiful result. Foul at 3rd. Breaking ball froze him. He couldn't pull the trigger, and the Braves settle for a run on 3 hits in the 3rd. 5-1 Pittsburgh. Pirates coming up in the home half of the inning.
It's 5-1 at PNC Park, and in preparation of going into this game, A.J. Brzezinski made sure he got with Ryan LaVarnway to discuss what made Julio Teheran so successful in his last outing against the Mets, arguably his best of the year. And he told me today he pitched inside a little more, used some sliders, some changeups, some curveballs, mixed it up really well, and threw the ball aggressively. That's the biggest thing for Julio, is to be aggressive, pound the strike zone, and mix up his pitches. When he does all that, guys, it can be really good, and we have seen it in glimpses.
Saw it last inning when he got the Pirates in order. 1-2-3. Braves got him a run. Let's see if he can shut him down again and turn things back over to the batsman.
Yeah, it's that aggressive part, Christina. If he'll just continue to be aggressive, pitch inside, and when he does get some guys on base, you know, make good pitches, bear down, and not feel like the world's coming to an end.
Slow roller. And that takes care of Alvarez for the first out. Braves had a shift on for Pedro. It was handled cleanly for the first out. Here's Cervelli. He swung at the first pitch and singled home a run in the Pirates' first. They sent 10 men to the plate. Got word on Andrew McCutchen, by the way. It's a left elbow contusion. They did take x-rays. Those x-rays were negative. He will be reevaluated by Pittsburgh tomorrow. We wrap up the series with the Pirates tomorrow afternoon. Pittsburgh goes to Detroit to play the Tigers. The Braves come home after a Monday off day and face the Nationals Tuesday night.
That plunk on McCutchen's elbow, you know, hurt and went numb. His arm went numb right away, and for him to not to be able to continue, it just, he had to have nothing working in the arm.
Two and 0 for Cervelli. That's a good pitch. Pirate catcher missed it. 2 balls and a strike.
One of the highlights of my broadcasting career for the Braves in Pittsburgh was over at Three Rivers Stadium, and they have a hot dog lunch here every third inning.
To third. Oh, Uribe backhanded that ball. Pretty brave play, and he made a good one. 2 outs.
And they were lunching hot dogs all over the ballpark for the fans. And Tom Stinson, who was covering the Braves for the AJC, was sitting in the press box. He got smoked right in the head with a hot dog. You know, he wasn't watching. And that was funny enough, but the next time we came back, he had on a hard hat.
Did he really? That's great. I wonder what the longest distance for one of those hot dog shots is. In the old ballpark, you could really have some fun if you're shooting the hot dogs at people. The press box was 2 levels between the radio and TV booths. It's 2 levels here as well. As that ball's crushed down the right field line, and it stays in the park. A long round foul ball. But I mean, you'd really have to have a U.S. Army type howitzer to get it to the press box in this place. 2 quick strikes on Gregory Polanco. One and 2. Very proud baseball history here in Pittsburgh, as you know. From Forbes Field to Three Rivers Stadium, now to PNC Park.
Oh, good try. Good change up. It certainly dates back.
Chant Championship flags earned by the Pirates organization. The 2-2 pitch to Polanco is scorched out to short and off the glove of Simmons. And Polanco will settle for a hard hit single with 2 outs. The remnants of Forbes Field are long gone. I believe the outfield wall still exists, and on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh they have home plate in one of the medical buildings where fans can actually go in and stand at home plate. Three Rivers Stadium is now long gone. It's where Heinz Field, the home of the Steelers, sits about a half mile from this ballpark on the North Shore in Pittsburgh. As Jordy Mercer bats, 1 on 2 outs. He has an RBI single. And this one's popped up. Uribe at third moves into foul ground and puts the squeeze on it, and that retires the side. Around a couple of shutdown innings, bottom of the order up to the Braves. 5-1 your score. Well, we mentioned Three Rivers Stadium and a great day in Braves history. May 11th, 1977. Manager for a day, owner Ted Turner. Braves were in the midst of a 15-game losing streak, and Ted Turner wanted to find out what in the heck was going on and see if he could turn the luck around with Bill Acree at his side. This is how Ted Turner remembers that fateful day in the Steel City.
We lost 1-0, but then we won the next game. But I was in the stands. The league president ordered me to leave the field in the best interest of baseball. I think the team had lost 15 in a row, so they only lost 1 under me. My lifetime record was 0-1.
1 ball, no strikes. As that ball's hammered down the right field line by Joey Tadoslavich and out of play.
You know, you think about that. Bowie Kuhn was the commissioner, wasn't he?
I believe so, yep.
Ted owns a team. Why can't he manage it?
I don't know.
Connie Mack did it for 50 years.
Yep. Good point. And that's what Ted said. He said, look, I was smart enough to buy the team for $20 million. You'd think I'd be smart enough to manage it, for crying out loud. That's sharply hit out towards short. Mercer's got it and loads up to get his man for out number 1. Bill Acree celebrates his 50th year in the Braves organization this year. Was alongside for all of those early days with Ted Turner. He's told so many great stories. One of the best was during that game, first time managing a major league team. Ted didn't know what to do. How do you sit? And he kept looking across the dugout and was doing everything that Chuck Tanner did. He was then managing the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That was Bill on the far right of that picture. Yeah, Bill was around for Connie Mack too. Connie Mack asked him the same thing.
How do you tie a tie?
And how do you wear a bowler? There's old Bill.
Andrelton Simmons hit by a pitch his first time up. In retaliation for McCutchen getting smoked. Warnings were issued, so that should be the end of that today. At least we hope so. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh got 5 in the first. The Braves with 1 in the third. Harrison long run won't get it. It's into the stands. Big crowd for the Pirates today. It was Starling Marte bobblehead doll day. They might have a sellout crowd on a soggy afternoon. They will go over 1 million in attendance with this gathering today. Swing and a miss. Simmons is down on a good breaking ball. Charlie's had a good one from the first pitch of the day.
It's been his out pitch today. Got Kelly Johnson looking in the third. Got him on a check swing in the second. And gets Andrelton with it here.
And Morton pitched inside. Now here's where it gets difficult for the umpires. How do you question intent? Just wanted to make him aware, I guess. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. In your day they didn't issue warnings, did they?
No. Let things handle it, play out the way they're supposed to. Maybe there were too many fights in those days. I don't know. But it was kind of policed by the players. Charlie Morton, by the way, had not hit a batter prior to hitting Andrelton.
Mercer to his left behind the second base bag, and it's a 1-2-3 Atlanta fourth. Charlie Morton leads off for the Pirates. He enjoys a 4-run lead. It was an onslaught in the opening inning.
McCutchen hit on the elbow, had to come out of the game. Fans, sellout crowd upset because they didn't get to watch the star today. But after that, Pirates got some payback.
An RBI hit. Alvarez drove home 2 with a double. Cervelli followed with a first pitch run-scoring hit. Polanco walked, then Jordy Mercer got in on the fun. After a parade of hitters came up for the Pirates, 10 men batted, 5 of them scored.
And since then, Julio Teheran has set down 8 of the last 9.
And he has Charlie Morton to begin the Pittsburgh fourth.
And he and AJ having a little chat.
Strike one. Only thing that can stop the Nationals is Mother Nature. They were apparently rained out in Philly today. Swing and a miss. The way Max Scherzer took a perfect game into the 6th inning last night. He actually was human. That one's out of play, foul. Scherzer gave up a couple of runs. But Washington beat the Phillies 5-2. His 100th was the 100th win in Max Scherzer's major league career. Swing and a miss. Horton's disposed of. Good start to the 4th inning for Julio. His 3rd strikeout. Hey, the saddest news in baseball took place in Miami. The game's great players, Giancarlo Stanton, on a swing at some point during the game last night, fractured the hamate bone in his hand. He's out 4 to 6 weeks.
I thought it was 6 to 8.
Maybe you're right.
I think they're going to have surgery to repair it. It's not good for the game when the stars are out.
Well, nothing's gone right for the Marlins, who are 15 games under 500 now. At one point this year, 4 of their top 5 starters were on the disabled list. They fired their manager. They've lost Martin Prado for a while with a shoulder problem, and they're running into the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke today and tomorrow.
Again, game can be cruel. Nobody will feel sorry for you after all you just said. The Dodgers are not going to take any pity on you. They're thrilled to death that they don't have to mess with Giancarlo Stanton.
He's having a mammoth year. 12 homers this month and on pace for 58 for the Marlins ball club.
And you think about that park he plays in, that's pretty amazing.
It sure is. Markakis near the line in right puts that away. Harrison's retired, and here's the injury to the Marlins slugging right fielder.
And later in the game, it was too much. His bottom hand. We used to hear about hamate bone injuries a lot 5-6 years ago, but none recently, at least that I can recall. And it typically was from getting hit by a pitch. I remember Omar Infante had a problem with that bone in his hand getting hit.
Popped up. Uribe on a sprint will run out of real estate. I've heard of stories too, Joe, where if that hamate bone gets irritated but isn't broken, players will sometimes go ahead and have it removed because of its sensitivity. And situations like that with Giancarlo Stanton, it can just snap.
And it usually stems from the knob of the bat. Guys who are right down on the knob, even their hands draped over, maybe their pinky finger draped over the knob a little bit, that sometimes that can be the cause of it.
Fly ball down the right field line, and it's a foul ball. Neil Walker just missed a homer. And the count to him 0-2.
A foul splash.
Still 0-2. Wonder what the Marlins will do now at the deadline. That fan base is obviously very sensitive anytime the Marlins start thinking about unloading players. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball well hit toward right. Markakis sprinting back. He plays it off the scoreboard nicely. And he holds Walker to a long single. That was a terrific play.
Sometimes on those built-in scoreboards in the wall and the fencing, whether it's chain link or whatever it might be, sometimes you get some weird bounces off the scoreboard. Breaking ball didn't have much movement, and Nick played that one off the base of the wall perfectly.
Jung Ho gone. Flied out in his lone at bat. He's going to ground to third. Uribe's got it. The toss to second is in time. And that sends our game to the fifth inning. Braves are still in this one. It's 5-1. Top of the order coming up against Charlie Morton.
Right stuff, low price, every day.
It's 5-1 as we head to the top of the fifth inning. And all of a sudden it looks like Braden's in Florida. Bright sunshine and it's raining.
Pouring rain. Huh. I tell you what, the groundskeepers are getting so scientific, just like our Ed Mangan. Pirates groundskeepers out there between innings saying there's something coming, so be ready.
How come it's only raining when we hit? That doesn't seem fair.
Man, oh man.
Jace is in that camera shot someplace. We promise. And that's outside. 3 balls and a strike. Pittsburgh needs 3 outs for this to be an official game. And a strike. It's now 3-2. Little tapper. That's a tough play, but it's going to roll foul. No chance for Alvarez. And we'll do it again with a full count. Before the game started, we saw a bridal party making its way across the Clemente Bridge. Maybe they were coming to the game. I sure hope they got undercover before the Rays game. Popped up. And on comes Polanco near the line. He gets there in front of Mercer and takes care of Jace Peterson one out.
Everybody's walking. They're not tiptoeing, but they're certainly very careful starting and stopping, because these are like squalls that are coming through. And now John Hirschbeck says, that's enough. I don't know if this is really a squall, but I just like saying that.
And you say it so well.
But it's
really coming down.
And it's not an official game.
No. Now, as we look off toward the right, there's a lot of blue sky out there.
It's kind of to the east and south. East is over there.
Yeah.
So that's south. Yeah, right over the top of the PP&G building. Blue sky.
The grounds crew really has some hard work to do here. They're trying to get the field covered, but they've had that tarp off and on 3 times now today. So you know that thing's heavy and waterlogged and rain soaked. And now just as soon as they get it unfurled, the rain intensity drops off by about 90%.
You know the way Ed Mangan and the crew roll that tarp out with the tractors?
Yeah.
I mean, because speed is so important in a situation like this, and these guys are dog tired today, it took them forever to roll that thing out.
Yeah.
Manually.
And look at the infield between first and second base. I mean, there's standing puddles here at PNC Park.
I don't think we can continue.
So
we'll see.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Tongue-tied too. 5-1 is our score. Rain delay in Pittsburgh. And we'll continue from the ballpark right after this. when the tractor couldn't reach. They've cleaned up the mound, and the infield looks to be in pretty good shape. But there's still a ton of standing water, most notably as you look at the upper right-hand portion of your screen. All along there are standing puddles of water. Same down the left field line where the tarp is, past the Pirates dugout. In short, the field's a mess. But for the moment, it appears to look playable, and this is what things looked like before the grounds crew went back to work.
Yeah, and so they dumped the drying agent on it, and it soaks up the standing water, all right, but it's still treacherous. It is still soft, and man, oh man, you know that the Pirates were lobbying, hey, we just need 2 more outs to make this official. But there is some rain still in the area that might come back. They're hoping it stays north of the stadium, but they don't have any guarantees. But if I'm in the infielders, I'm playing in closer because all that area, probably 3 or 4 feet from the edge of the outfield grass, is absolutely saturated and soaked.
So Charlie Morton, after the delay, is going to come back out. He needs 2 outs to qualify for the win. And he's got 1 out, bases empty, with Cameron Maybin coming up. His first pitch is off the plate, ball 1.
Plus, we didn't even know we were coming back to start the game. We just saw the Pirates take the field, thought, okay, well, I guess they're going to play.
The delay officially 31 minutes.
Those poor ground crew guys, I don't know how much they got left in them.
And that's fouled off Cervelli. 2 balls and a strike for Cameron Maybin, who's hit into a double play, has doubled and scored the lone Braves run. 30 minutes is not an awfully long time for Charlie Morton to wait out the delay. Bouncing ball. Gong at third. Bad throw, but Alvarez the tag. That's the challenge, too. I'm sure the baseball on the infield grass is going to be saturated. And Alvarez smarting as he made the catch, and Maybin flew by on a hard tag. 2 out.
Nice play by Alvarez. Got hit pretty hard.
Nick Markakis 2 for 2. He drove in the lone Braves run. And Morton delivers a strike. It's 1-1. Bad weather all over this part of the world. Reds and Mets in a rain delay. That game's in the 7th inning, I think, at Citi Field. Told you Washington and the Phillies already rained out. White Sox and Tigers rained out in Detroit. Cleveland and Baltimore rained out at Oriole Park at Camden Yards today. Pitch. Swing and a miss. It's an official game. Charlie Morton back. And he heads to the bottom of the 5th inning, enjoying a 4-run lead. Phillies in town Friday through Sunday. What better way to celebrate Independence Day than by experiencing America's pastime, the best fireworks show in the Southeast? Go to Braves.com/tickets. Plan your 4th of July trip to the ballpark today. Time for our AT&T Universe trivia question. A.J. Pierzynski back in harness tonight. Name the only 2 current National League players with more hits and homers than A.J. Pierzynski.
Only 2 current NL players. Doesn't say catchers.
No. Matt Holliday comes to mind. He's with the Cardinals, but he's injured.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, Julio Teheran, after a 5-run first, has given up only 2 hits since. Let's see what kind of stuff he has after the 31-minute rain delay in the top of this 5th inning. It is now an official game with the Pirates leading. So Mother Nature can do whatever she will. And the cloud cover just changes by the minute. Dark stuff coming in from the right field corner.
Braves don't want it to rain now.
Marte 1 for 2 for the Pirates. And out of play, foul. You were talking about some of the intangibles that impressed you about Starling Marte before the ball game.
Yeah, one of them is just the confident look he has on his face when he's at the plate. It's kind of like he's looking at the pitcher like, okay, let's see what you got.
Foul ball. It's a foul ball. John Tempane, the plate umpire. Watch his good work. Good
hustle on his part.
He got it right. 0-2. So you like this kid a lot, Marte?
Yeah, I like him more every time I see him play. We only get to see him about 6 times a year, but he's even better than he was last year.
And he followed the script, unfortunately, with a base hit to left. His 2nd hit of the game, and he's been the toughest out for the Braves the last couple of years.
0-2 count. Off-speed pitch, and he still stayed on it. Got a base hit. Slider, covered it.
Pedro Alvarez, the hitter. He's knocked in 4 runs in the series. A 1st inning double. Part of the Pirates' 5-run 1st inning. Runner goes and then slammed on the brakes.
Sure did.
Holy cow. He looked like he had a great jump.
Yeah, he did, but he started feeling some of that dirt caking up in his spikes or whatever, and he was like, I'll never get there.
Whoa.
that was pretty funny.
This is a real elementary question, so I ask because I really don't know the answer as we wait for the 0-1 pitch. In pro football, really at any level of football, the players have different type of spikes for different field conditions. Some are longer than others if the turf is really loose and thick. Is the same thing applicable in baseball, or is it all one height?
It's pretty much all the same spikes. If you played on turf all the time, I mean, artificial surface would be different. You'd wear something different, perhaps, or some cut down spikes, I'll say, but not on grass and dirt.
There's no longer spike for the muddy track like we've got today?
No. Not to my knowledge.
Sure would come in handy. All the dirt on the infield and the diamond dry and slop in the outfield. tough conditions for the fielders and base runners. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Alvarez.
Well, Marte must have felt some unsure footing when he was trying to stride out and realized he wasn't going to make it. If there was one big mistake that Teheran made in the first inning, it was to Alvarez. He had base open and made a mistake to him. Supposed to be delivering a pitch away, and it caught a lot of the plate, and that's when he ripped the double.
Won't know till after the game, but I think the hit batsman of Andrew McCutcheon really unsettled Julio.
Could have.
One of the stars of the game out on a pitch inside. That's never good. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And high. 2-2. Sharply hit to right. A 2-hit game for Alvarez. So 2 2-strike hits for the Pirates in the 5th inning. And that will get the Braves bullpen stirring.
That was a changeup. So a base hit on the slider and then a base hit on the changeup. That's Amore they play for Cervelli.
He's 1 for 2. Fly ball center. Playable for Maben. Marte's going to tag at second. He's going to move up 90 feet. And Pittsburgh has runners at first and third. It must be a National League Central thing. That type of walk-up music. Todd Frazier walks up to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I think it might be.
I like that better than whatever Polanco's playing.
Well, I'm all for the walk-up music if it gets you fired up, you know. That's what it takes to get you fired up for your at-bat. But man, oh man, when they're playing this loud stuff between pitches and between pop-ups, and give it a rest.
Got to ice our ears after the game.
Yeah.
Forget the players. We got to ice our ears. Here's Polanco. He's walked in single. And that's downstairs. Guess who's watching the game today?
Several million people.
Freddie Freeman and Chipper Jones are watching the game.
Are they?
Right
Are they
now.
sitting together?
They're sitting together.
Well, good.
They stayed through the entire rain delay. Chipper was mad that they played the Tom Glavine driven, not the Chipper Jones driven during our rain delay a minute ago.
Well, you know he was.
Actually, he didn't say that. I'm just trying to cause a little friction between Chipper and the athlete, you know.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Freddie, we miss you. Get well soon. Can't wait to see you when we get back to Atlanta. And popped up toward third. Juan Uribe in foul grounds got to play and makes it. There's the second out. And Jordy Mercer is the batter.
This may be a big sequence in this game. There's still a lot of time left, and not letting that guy in from third base might be a huge part of this ball game.
Sugar Ray Marimon is up and throwing in the Braves bullpen. You recall Sugar Ray came up a couple of days ago. Missed it earlier. Jake Brigham has been brought up from AAA Gwinnett. Williams Perez placed on the disabled list after being struck with a batted ball here last night. First and third for the Pirates. 2 on, 2 out. And a strike. Mercer starting it short for the 13th consecutive game for Pittsburgh.
Not away. Fastballs. Getting ahead with fastballs. Get after him.
I'd rather see him get beat with that pitch than the off-speed stuff. Both hits on off-speed pitches for the Pirates in this 5th inning.
AJ wants another one.
And now Alvarez broke too early. Runner at third's thinking about breaking for home. Jace Peterson. Now Tardosevich slips as he throws to the plate. Run is in. The Pirates stole a run, and the muddy track cost Tardosevich a chance to make a good throw.
Braves did everything right. Everything right. They just could not control the footing. Julio stepped off, checked the runner at third, gave up the baseball. They started running him back to first, and now Joey T starts to throw, and he falls down trying to plant and throw. Can't help that.
Nope. So Pittsburgh adds a run to make it a 6-1 game. And Mercer with an 0-2 count. Strike 3, outside corner, ends the inning. Pittsburgh steals a run. Marte breaks for the plate after Alvarez broke too early from first. A slip and a low throw sends us to the 6th inning.
To 1, and as we mentioned, Williams Perez placed on the DL today for the Braves and called up in return 27-year-old Jake Brigham, who has spent 9 seasons in the minor leagues. And when he got the call yesterday, it was absolutely overwhelming, and it brought him to tears.
I just started crying. Been in the minor leagues 9 years. Drafted in 06. Been with several different organizations, and when Snit told me, it was just overwhelming. It was a really good feeling.
Needless to say, when you spend that much time in the minor leagues, Christina, it is going to be overwhelming and maybe a bit of a surprise, too, because he just came to the Braves organization after last year pitching in a couple of different spots in the Pirates organization.
And he was recommended to the Braves, right, Christina?
Absolutely, yes. And you guys should have seen the look on his face when he took the field with the relievers earlier to head out to the bullpen. An absolute smile, taking it all in, looking around. He's very excited to be here today.
Might see him in the ball game today as we play on in the 6th inning. Freddie Gonzalez apparently got a phone call from Mark Connor, who's a longtime major league coach, minor league coach too, pitching coach in the big leagues, and recommended Jake Brigham very highly to the Braves, especially knowing what Atlanta was trying to do organizationally speaking, with all the changes this offseason and trying to build through the farm system. Brigham came with excellent locker room credentials, not just good pitching credentials. This ball's hit out towards second. Walker to a knee, makes the play, 2 out. And after a 6-3 start with Mississippi, 1 appearance in AAA because of Perez's injury, Brigham's here to help bridge the gap in the bullpen. And the Braves have a decision to make as far as who pitches at home on Thursday.
He was starting in AA, and wasn't there a game right before he got called up where he took a perfect game into the 9th inning?
I believe that's the case, yes.
His last 4 starts for Mississippi, 3-1 with a 1.13 ERA. June get 4th. Your attention.
Yeah, June 4th, Joe, 1-hit complete game for the Mississippi Braves. And when he pitches, I believe he'll be the 25th different pitcher to work for Atlanta this year. Kelly Johnson's grumbling, didn't like it.
Steady data off speed, Kelly.
And they got him again. Charlie Morton has 6 strikeouts. And Kelly Johnson with a parting shot as he heads back to the dugout. Thursday home games, college night. The next one's coming up on Thursday, July 2nd. Tickets are only $20 with $10 of added value included. You'll get to sit in the new college section. Students with a college night ticket also get to run the bases after the game. Don't miss out on these special nights at Turner Field. Space is limited. Go to Braves.com/college now. Charlie Morton doing what Charlie Morton does at home. He's 3-0 this year on his home mound, and he's got a big 5-run lead again. It's a 6-1 score. Morton, Harrison, and Neil Walker are coming up.
And Julio back out there for the 6th. Hanging with him. which is a good sign.
He's due to hit third in the 7th. The Braves want 3 more outs from him without having to go to their bench or bullpen quite yet. Strike 3. Morton took it. 5th strikeout for Julio Teheran. Joe, what's that blue stuff up there?
That's called blue sky.
Haven't seen it in a while.
At least since the 2nd inning.
Here's Harrison. I like watching this guy play. He is a bundle of energy. Started the game at third base, moved to the outfield after McCutchen got hurt.
It just dawned on me why he changed shoes from last night. He's got his mutters on. He didn't want to mess those other ones up.
To second. And that's off the heel of Jace Peterson's glove. He's going to get an error, but I tell you what, you got to wear the red badge of courage to play the infield, this infield, on this day in these conditions.
Less than ideal for sure. Saw Terdoslovich slip on the throw home. I'm not telling what that ball did once it hit the dirt.
So Harrison at first with the error. Popped up. A.J. Brzezinski will watch that sail into the stands. It's strike 1.
You know, we were talking, or you mentioned that the Braves only had 1 inning in the last 50-some.
Yep.
That where they've scored more than 1 inning.
Correct. More than 1 run.
More than 1 run. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To that end, it's been that many innings since Freddie had to come out of the lineup, Freddie Freeman. And when Freddie's in there, the lineup's deeper. You know, there's guys hitting 6th, 7th, and 8th that are now having to hit 4th, 5th, and 6th. It changes the lineup for the Braves drastically when you don't have your big first baseman in there. And while it's easy for us to say, you know, it's all okay, it's on these guys to kind of pick up the slack. Well, it doesn't. It's not all that easy. They're all good players in their own right, but they're not Freddie.
Right. And I'm sure, as hard as it is for Freddie Gonzalez and his staff to try to create creative ways to score runs, I guarantee you this is killing Freddie Freeman, that is, to not be able to play.
Well, he's killing him when he was in uniform in the dugout.
Yeah.
Sit and watch. But hopefully the treatment he's getting now will get him back on the field quickly.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Harrison at first. Neil Walker rolls one into the Braves dugout. Got a piece of Johnny Gomes on the way by.
I think Johnny stood there hoping it would hit him, because he didn't even care.
Well, remember the game in Atlanta, the Garrett Cole game, where he had a couple of Braves batters and Johnny took exception to that. He was in his customary perch on the top step of the dugout in Atlanta. And the home plate umpire, the first thing he did when his mask came off, where's Johnny?
Yes,
Stay there, Johnny. Don't come out. Wait, what, me? What am I doing?
Well, he was already out on the warning track, though. He was ready to go.
Two balls, 2 strikes. play. Through all the rain and gloomy weather, you can see from our vantage point why this is one of the most popular stops in the National League. Absolutely breathtaking views. All that was missing from this city and this ballpark was winning baseball. They've got that now. Talking to several players and staff before the game today and after the game last night. This is many of the uniformed personnel's favorite stop for the points I just made.
I can count on one hand, though, the times we've come to Pittsburgh and it hasn't rained.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about when the Braves come to town, but Uncle.
In the air towards center. Maven on the run. Got an excellent jump. And he made the play for out number 2. Well, don't take it personally. When I was with the Cubs, we'd come here 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And we had 3 times the number of rain delays.
Is that right?
Oh, man.
Okay, so it's not just the Braves.
No.
Okay.
Here's Jung Ho Kong. Walker flying out. He missed it. McCutchen got hit on the elbow in the first inning. X-rays were taken. X-rays were negative. They will evaluate him again tomorrow. AJ might have stolen a strike there. It's 0-1. Giants lead the Rockies 7-5 in the 7th. Marlins beat the Dodgers 3-2. That was Clayton Kershaw starting today for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kershaw not having a Kershaw-like season as far as the wins and losses are concerned.
Good for the Marlins to bounce back without Stanton, too, and beat Kershaw. That's pretty impressive.
They've got Greinke next. In fact, last time through the rotation, Kershaw and Greinke were both beaten. That's the first time that Dodger duo was beaten in successive games in 13 tries when they've matched up for Los Angeles. Swing and a miss. Gong didn't get it.
Still got a good fastball. He's probably running on fumes as he approaches 100 pitches. It's been a long day for Julio after giving up 5 runs in the first, but to his credit, he has stayed in there and has saved the bullpen.
Shadow's a factor. Bright sunshine right at the outfield edge of the second base bag. Simmons in bright sunshine, and then left field, center field.
Which makes it, when you're in bright sunshine like Kelly Johnson right now, or he was, and then the hitter's in the shadow, that's hard to see the ball off the bat.
And if I'm not mistaken, the orientation of this ballpark will be very similar to what the Braves will have at SunTrust Park.
I believe so.
Right field won't be the sun field there. It'll be left field. Two balls, 2 strikes. Slowly hit toward Uribe at third. He'll make the long throw to first in time, and that retires the side. After a shaky first, Julio Teheran's pitched 5 very impressive innings since. And we go to the 7th. parade around the field. That ticket package includes a limited edition Jason Greeley Rebel bobblehead, a ticket to the game, and to get you onto the field for the pregame parade. Go to Braves.com/Star Wars when the Braves entertain the Phillies over the 4th of July holiday. Charlie Morton back to work. He's in the 7th now. Bottom part of the order for the Braves. Tradoslavich, Simmons, and then a pinch hitter. And a good start. Joey T with a hit. His first of the series.
Joey's swinging the bat real well. You know, he hit that home run to win a ball game right before he was sent back to Gwinnett. But now that he's come back, he's picked up where he left off. Making good contact, hit the ball on the nose.
That gets the Pirates bullpen stirring. And Anderson Simmons will be the hitter. After being hit by a pitch in the 2nd, he struck out in the 4th. And Charlie Morton, after a very rough start his last time out, has had a pretty nice game today. Surrendered 8 hits and only 1 run, though. He's pushing toward 100 pitches for the Pirates. In the air to center. That'll get down for a hit. Tradoslavich will stop at 2nd. 2 on, nobody out. And it's Yuri Perez to bat for Tehran. Get a couple here, make it interesting. You've got the right guys coming up. And Archimedes Caminero is the first man warming up. On a soggy day, a man named Archimedes. How appropriate is that? And Ray Searage, the Pirate pitching coach, very slowly makes his way to the mound.
Look at old Ray go. Somebody slow him down. Give the bullpen a chance. Yuri Perez has done a nice job also since he was called up. A lot of starts immediately when he came up. Hit 296. Which will be just his 2nd pinch hit appearance.
He made the point a few minutes ago about the shoes of Josh Harrison. How he's wearing his Mutters today, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, these were the shoes last night that Harrison was wearing. I can see Chipper Jones wearing something like that, can't you?
Yes, but probably out to dinner more than to play in.
Probably has a couple sport coats to match.
No, nothing that nice. But those were pretty sharp shoes last night.
And now Perez gets hit. That's not what Morton wanted to do. Warnings have been issued after Simmons got plunked. And now the bases are loaded for Atlanta, and the top of the order is coming up in a 5-run game. So we've got action all of a sudden.
Yeah, that obviously was not intentional, and the home plate umpire John Tempane knows it. That was more bad luck on Charlie's part, or just being dumb. And I don't think Ray Searage went out there and said, "Hit this guy and load him up, will you?"
Send a message.
I don't think that's what he went out there to say.
I don't think so either. Fly ball, well hit by Peterson. Harrison's on the run, not getting that baby. It's off the base of the wall. 2-run score. Perez is getting waved. Throw to the plate is going to be close. It's going to be late. It's a bases clearing double by Jace Peterson. And all of a sudden, we've got a game. It's 6-4, and that's the end of the line for Charlie Morton.
Yeah, fastball above the belt. Big mistake. Jace almost hit it out of here for a slam, which would have been his 2nd of the year. And Yuri Perez at first ahead of the tag. He didn't even have a chance to get loose. Yuri was off to the races.
Nice cheer for Charlie Morton, who allowed 3 hits, a hit batsman, and 3 runs in the 7th. It's now a 6-4 score. 6-4. Pirates lead trimmed to 2. And Sid Bream's infamous knee brace worn on the night he slid home against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yuri Perez didn't need that. Head first dive scores the 4th Atlanta run of the day. And now Archimedes Caminero is on for the 34th time, part of a Pirates bullpen that has the 3rd best ERA in the game. Cameron Maybin, the hitter. Nobody out.
I don't know what Archimedes means, but it might mean gas, because this guy can bring it. 97 to 100 miles an hour with a cutter off that's in the low 90s and a split. What was that?
Cervelli wants to know.
It's almost like Tom Payne. You look back at Tom Payne, the umpire, like he was on him or something. I don't know. That was weird. Like he bumped him.
Yeah, it looked like Cervelli's right foot went out as he made the catch, sliding to his right. 2 balls, no strikes. On play, wind picking up, blowing out toward left. And Maybin pops it up to the right side. And that is the Braves dugout foul.
That steal of home back in the 6th inning looming big, or the tying run would be at second base. But still, here in the 7th inning, still get that guy over. Nobody out. A big deal if Cameron can get him to 3rd and get him in and make it a 1-run game.
Ball 3 low. Markakis waits on deck. And Nick's got a 2-hit game.
And I say that fully aware that I just told you that this guy can throw 100 miles an hour. It's not all that easy. Good hitters count here, though.
High fly ball toward left. Polanco is under it. And he'll give way to the center fielder. Marte makes the catch. And there's the first out of the inning. So no advance of Peterson by Maybin. Nick Markakis the batter. And Clint Hurdle will not allow Caminero to face the left-hand hitting Markakis or the left-hand hitting A.J. Pierzynski, who's set to follow. So Caminero got his man, and Clint Hurdle will go deeper into the bullpen. 1/3 of an inning, zeros across for the hard-throwing Pirates right-hander. We'll tell you who the new pitcher will be in a moment. with a lefty-lefty matchup coming on. The reason we're able to play is great work by the Pirates ground crew. They earn our SunTrust save of the game today.
3 times at last count that they put the tarp down and taken it off. That began early this morning. We started trying to get the field in shape. They will sleep well tonight.
Yeah, they looked very happy sprinting all that diamond drive with the shovel, didn't they? Yeah. But excellent work. And this is Antonio Bastardo. You remember him from the Phillies. And the Braves have seen an awful lot in his big league career. 33 times he's pitched against the Braves, and he's pitched to a 4.15 ERA against Atlanta.
Yeah, there have been some guys that have had some luck against him, but he's still tough. And, 6 walks against 20 strikeouts coming in situations like this, 1 per inning, typically to face left-handed hitters. Low 90s with a slider. Nick doesn't mind left-handers. He's really good at taking them the other way.
Big run out at second base. Presented by Jace Peterson. Markakis against lefties. .260 average this year. Already has 1 RBI hit back in the 3rd inning. His first RBI in 10 calendar days. Swing and a fly ball right center field, but that's going to be caught. Marte underneath. There's the catch. Peterson goes a third of the way and scrambles back.
Another example of what Marte can do. What a good player. Doesn't matter which spot you put him in the outfield either. He's having to play center after McCutchen got hit today with a pitch. But did everything right there, coming to that baseball and prevent Jace from advancing.
Yeah, we'll never know if that would have been deep enough to bring home Peterson had Maben gotten Jace to third base. So now it takes a 2-out hit from Przinsky if Atlanta's to score a 4th run in the inning. Big innings like this have been a rarity for Atlanta. They're down only 2 runs in the 7th. And pulled foul.
AJ's had a good day. Double and a single against Morton. A little different story here with a left-hander, but already a good swing.
Pittsburgh got 5 in the 1st. Braves 1 in the 3rd. Pittsburgh 1 in the 5th. 3 across in the Atlanta 7th.
Oh, and 1 the count. You think AJ might look for a breaking ball?
Missed outside. Boy, Cervelli not afraid to let the home plate umpire know his displeasure of her call.
Well, he set up really late on that. It wasn't a fastball. It wasn't a breaking ball. But he didn't move out there for the longest time.
One ball, 1 strike. And that one was cut on and missed. And on the ball in the dirt, Peterson moves to third base. Maybe a wild pitch.
Did he swing at that?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that bounced way out in front of the plate.
And he got a piece of Cervelli on the way by. Another one of those wouldn't hurt. But now AJ in a 1-2 count. Peterson with a bases clearing double in the 7th. Good eye. 2-2.
AJ has no choice but to be sitting on the fastball, try to handle that, fight off anything else, or hope he hangs a breaking ball. Throws too hard to guess otherwise.
Line drive and a nice catch. She's made 2 good plays in this inning.
Boy, and had to dance around the puddles too. Is that Sue Cool? One of the ball girls' name is Sue Cool.
I think that is her name.
Well, she handled that one coolly. That's a big league ball girl name, isn't it?
And a very confident one too. 2 balls, 2 strikes. AJ steps out again.
Try to put it in play, put some pressure on the defense, make them make a play.
High fly ball. Harrison says he's got it. He gives way to Marte, and Bastardo gets out of further trouble. But a bases clearing double by Jace Peterson brings the Braves close. We got a ball game now. 6-4 at the stretch. For your favorite Atlanta Brave. Jace Peterson ought to get some consideration for all-star votes from Braves country after another big hit to the bases loaded today. A 3-run double in the top of the 7th inning. Makes it a 6-4 game, and now Atlanta into the bullpen with Nick Massett first out of the chute.
Yeah, hold him right there. We've been saying that all day. Julio did a great job after the 1st inning. Only that squirrely double steal in the 5th inning cost him an extra run. But hold him right there. Get the offense back up. See if they can put a couple more runs on the board.
Massett will have the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up for the Pirates. Marte, Alvarez, and Cervelli. That trio's combined for 5 hits, 4 runs, and 4 RBIs. So this is the real tough part of the Pirate lineup today.
Nick Massett 10 straight outings without giving up an earned run.
And a bouncer foul for a strike. Skipped up there. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. line past third. Three-hit game for Marte.
Watch this. This guy, again, he just confidence oozes from him when he's at the plate. This is a breaking ball. Never flinched. Waited. Great hands. Good swing. Got it out front. Now, it wasn't a good pitch. It was up, but he didn't miss the mistake.
He's 26. Keep saying that. That's the thing about this Pirate club. Their offensive core, every single one of them under 30.
He's 26, and this is his third full year in the big leagues. So
right.
It's coming to him.
He's blossoming now. Here's Alvarez, runner at first. And Pedro takes a strike. 2-run double in the first. A fifth-inning single against Julio Teheran. Bassett in relief of Julio Teheran, who faced 10 hitters in the first inning. 5 scored. But after a Morton sacrifice in that opening inning, Teheran finished by retiring 17 of the final 22 Pirates he faced. He stopped the bleeding. Braves have scored 4 runs and trail by 2. Pitch. Foul late at the plate. It's 1-2. Pirates will be taking a look at the scoreboard after this one, hoping for some help from the Cubs. Cubs and Cardinals are playing in St. Louis tonight. As well as the Pirates have played, they can't gain any ground against St. Louis. 1-2 pitch. Runner goes. Good jump. Fouled at the plate.
Oh, my.
And a somersault at the second base bag. Hope Marte's all right.
He hit and stuck, and then his legs went back up over his head. I'm hoping he's embarrassed rather than hurt, but I mean a face plant because of the wet conditions. Starling Marte from the Hamilton Simmons School of Sliding. He's lucky.
Yes, he is. That'll be on the highlight reels.
Oh, at least he can laugh about it.
The Russian judge gave him a 7-1. The Yugoslavian judge an 8.2. And somebody's writing a notation down in Kangaroo Court for Starling Marte after that slide. One ball, 2 strikes.
Think he'll go in head first again?
He may not leave first base again. What if Joey said, hey, nice slide. Good job. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That got away from Przinsky. Alvarez will be retired, and Marte, hey, got second base standing up on a ball in the dirt. AJ Burnett. Hands held high as if to signal victory. He made it. That's great. 1 out. And here's Cervelli. a strike to the Pirates catcher.
One of the few first pitch strikes that they haven't gone after.
Cervelli started the day tops among all catchers in Major League Baseball in batting average and on base percentage. He's got a hit in 3 tries. And that one scalded toward right. Markakis retreats, can't get it, it's over his head. And Marte will be able to score standing up. Cervelli with a big RBI extends the lead at 7-4.
The way Marte can run, he probably would have scored anyway, but the wild pitch made it that much easier for him. The only thing about him being at first instead of second here is that he couldn't have been sure that Markakis wasn't going to catch the ball. So he would have had to wait to see before he took off. But that one was squared up by Cervelli again.
So Gregory Polanco bats. He's walked, singled, and popped out. So Nick Massett's run of good fortune ends here in the Pirates' 7th. First earned run over his last 8 complete innings, covering 11 appearances. And on a play foul, it's an even count. Game 3 of the series is tomorrow afternoon. Battle of left-handers. Alex Wood for the Braves, Jeff Locke for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're on the air at 1 o'clock with Braves Live on Fox Sports South. First pitch 1:35 Eastern Time. In the air to left. And a nice catch by Kelly Johnson in fair ground. Polanco out on a slicing fly ball to left.
There's virtually no foul territory down in that corner, so that was a really good play by Kelly to stay with it. Checked himself, see how much room he had, which wasn't much. Nice play.
Two outs for shortstop Jordy Mercer. Cervelli measures off a big lead at second. And a fly ball into center field. Base hit. He's going to come home and score. Jordy Mercer with another big hit.
Well, if I'm the Braves pitchers, I think I've had about enough of these dinks and doinks dropping in and driving in runs. Good grief. Two outs. Cervelli's off in the crack of the bat.
And now Bastardo gets to hit. He's not had an at bat this year. Remember, the Pirates bullpen had to work a lot before Atlanta got to town, including a 13-inning game against the Cincinnati Reds. This is Bastardo's 7th career at bat.
Well, the fact that they've taken a 4-run lead again allows Clint Hurdle to leave him in, let him hit, let him finish up the game. if they want, because no need to get the closer up or the setup guy, just finish it up. That'll all be contingent on the Braves offense.
And that's strike 3. And it ends the inning. Couple of strikeouts for Massett, but 2 runs on 3 Pirate hits, and we head to the 8th. AT versus trivia question. Name the only 2 current National League players with more hits and more homers than A.J. Pierzynski. Now, we told you earlier Chipper Jones and Freddie Freeman are watching the game. They chimed in with some answers. And their answers were Freddie Freeman says Jimmy Rollins. Chipper Jones said Aramis Ramirez.
I like both those answers. I also like Brandon Phillips. I also like your choice, Matt Holliday.
All right, so we'll stick with those 4 answers.
Yeah.
And see if we get it covered. Wow. 2 guys watching at home are all over it.
They're red hot. Red hot. And the cool thing is they don't even know how to work a computer, so they couldn't have looked it up.
Sean Rodriguez is in to play first base for the Pirates. Bastardo back out there for Pittsburgh. 12 runs, 22 hits, 3 errors combined by the ball clubs on a soggy day in Steel City. Uribe will lead it off, followed by Kelly Johnson and Joey Turdosilovich.
Well, that 2-run counterpunch kind of took the starch out of Jace Peterson's bases loaded double, didn't it?
Sure did. The leadoff hit by Marte got him going. Wild pitch hurt. 2-run scoring hits make it a 4-run game for Juan Uribe, who's 1 for 3 today, and he takes a strike. They're back playing in New York, where the Reds and Mets are tied 1-1 in the 7th. Boy, the Mets cannot score at all. They won 2-1 yesterday. And Terry Collins is practically begging for some offensive help to be provided his club. They've got the pitching, they've got the good work at home, but they can't score runs.
I think Curtis Granderson hit a homer for him today for their run. He's been hot.
Uribe didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I like this Pirates team. I like their lineup. I like their diversity of how they can beat you, the ways they can beat you.
Fly ball to right. Harrison will give ground and make the play for the first out.
That guy right there is a terrific asset because he can play anywhere on the diamond. Their starting rotation is good. I wouldn't call it great, but it's good, anchored by A.J. Burnett and Garrett Cole. And I like several pieces of their bullpen. Bastardo and Tony Watson may be the best two lefties that any one team has. They're both good.
Chris Johnson will get some at-bats late. Figure he'll be in the lineup tomorrow against Jeff Locke, so a chance to get him acclimated to the ballpark. He's in for Kelly Johnson, who went 0 for 3. I guess the question everybody has about the Pirates, one, can they catch the Cardinals? There's a lot of baseball left. We haven't seen St. Louis yet, but right now they are apparently the best team in our league. And Pittsburgh has a big deficit to try to make up with St. Louis. They've not played well within the division of the Pirates.
I don't think the Cardinals have hit a dry spell, though. They haven't really stubbed their toe at all.
Foul to the screen.
You know, I'm not saying that they're going to, but every team goes through some little swoon or two during the season. Even if it was 4 games or 5 games, it might kind of alter that lead if the Pirates could take advantage.
I don't think I'll be firing anymore. I threw 2 up today. I'm feeling generous.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up out of play, but after 20 years of not making the playoffs, Pirates have gone to postseason play in back-to-back seasons. They haven't won a series in postseason play, but they've gotten there. The next logical step is quite obviously get to the playoffs and advance. That's the next obstacle for Clint Hurdle's team. And any team that has A.J. Burnett with a 2.0 ERA and Garrett Cole and Liriano, even if the Pirates find themselves in a 1-game shootout, if any one of those 3 guys are available, they've got as good a chance as anybody to move on.
Yeah. You need 3 starters in postseason. Those 3 are certainly good.
Swing and a miss. Chris Johnson's out number 2 in the 8th. And I would think, too, Joe, with this young core of the Pirates, having been to the playoffs before, you could say they are playoff tested now. It won't be an unfamiliar experience for them. I don't think they were ever intimidated by the experience, but it won't be new should they get there again, which can do nothing but help them.
That type of experience is always good. The addition of Cervelli. You know, when people say, well, Russell Martin leaves, the Pirates' fortunes are really going to go downhill fast. He was such a team leader, such an important part to their pitching staff, and Cervelli has really done a nice job taking over that role.
Swing and a miss by Joey T, batting right-handed.
He may not be exactly what Russell Martin was, but there's not a lot of drop off there, and that's been a great pickup for them.
Question for Cervelli, can he stay healthy? Ground ball to second. He missed 140 games with a fractured wrist 2 years ago. Hamstring problems cost him a lot of time with the Yankees in 2014. But he and the battling Buccos are getting healthy against the Braves. They lead 8-4. today's Toyota key plays of the game.
Pretty much in the first inning, everything happened that has set the stage for the end of this ball game. McCutcheon got plumped and had to come out of the ball game, but his teammates picked up the slack. They got 5 runs in the first inning. The big blow right there, that double, a 2-run double by Alvarez. And that was followed by Cervelli and Mercer with RBI hits as well. The Braves have fought back, tried to make a game of it, but another 2-run 7th inning made the gap 4 runs again.
And Sugar Ray Marimon is on to pitch the 8th, and the top of the Pittsburgh order is coming up. Harrison Walker, and then we'll see. It'll be gone. The Pittsburgh third baseman. Harrison 0 for 4. And called a strike. Joey Todosilovic moves from first to left. Chris Johnson into play first base. And Marimon, the third Atlanta hurler of the day. That one's up the middle. Simmons gives ground. He'll get there, but has no play. Another softly hit ball off the end of the bat. Pittsburgh with 13 hits.
He had 10 last night. That was an extra innings. That was a pretty good pitch. He just threw his bat down there at that. Found a hole.
Pirates trying to stay unbeaten at home against the National League East. They're 10-0 at home against Eastern clubs. They haven't lost a day game at home this year. They're 9-0 in the sunshine at PNC Park.
Well, when it shines.
Yeah. Well, it is right at the 399 sign. So with a 4 o'clock start, it's officially a day game.
Yeah. So let's say by the clock.
Yes. Right. Yeah. That's foul on a play. Big crowd today. 36,417.
The stadium only seats about 39. Is that about right?
It's about Wrigley Field sized. Roller toward first. Chris Johnson will fire to second for 1. Simmons the return to first, not in time. One on, one out. Jung Ho Kang is coming up.
Guerra warming up. He just got called up. That puts Cahill on the disabled list with some forearm tightness. Yolis Guerra.
Strike 1.
Good breaking ball. Gong thought it broke around the plate. That was a pretty good pitch, looked like. Good stop. AJ got this one off the shoulder. No. Oh, is that shin guard or hand? Yeah. Hopefully the shin guard.
That's sprayed to right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Left side, Uribe's got it. The flip to second one, the turn, and it's a double play. And that sends our game 2, hitting number 9, 8-4 Pittsburgh in game 2. Last call for the Braves. Simmons will get it started. We wrap up our season series with the Pirates here tomorrow. Let's check out tomorrow's Chevron starters.
Looks like it'd be on Alex Wood to salvage one game unless the Braves can rally here in the 9th inning. Jeff Locke, Braves have certainly seen him a lot, and he's a former Braves farmhand as well. 4-3 on the year. Alex pitched well his last time out against Washington, but got no run support until late. And he didn't have his best stuff, but he pitched a good ball game.
There's Deolis Guerra, 26-year-old right-hander who's taken a long time to matriculate through the farm systems of the Twins, Mets, and Pirates systems. That's right. He was originally signed by the Mets as a non-drafted free agent 10 years ago. The Twins got him from New York in 2008 for Johan Santana. Then he was signed by Pittsburgh as a minor league free agent after the 2014 season.
He was at Indianapolis, did give up a run in his last 11 games there. A 1.23 ERA gets your attention as well.
He trained with the Venezuelan World Baseball Classic team 2 years ago. Couldn't pitch. He had blood clots in his right shoulder. Then had a rib removed to improve circulation in the right shoulder. And here he is pitching for Pittsburgh. And a bunt tries, popped up to the mound. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That probably wasn't how he pictured his first out in the big leagues to go. But he bounced off the mound to make the catch.
Pedro Siriaco, the batter, with 1 out in the 9th. Garris, big dude, 6'5", 245 pounds.
Scouting report says his best pitch is a changeup. Low 90s fastball, but a good, excellent changeup.
Strike one from Deolis Guerra out of Bolivar, Venezuela.
Pedro's done a nice job for the Braves since he came up. And he's especially done a good job pinch hitting. 4 for 14, 4 RBIs.
That was a good off-speed pitch, taken for a strike. And a shot to left. That is a fair ball, and that's going to bounce into the seats. A ground rule double for Pedro Siriaco, who continues his good work off the bench.
He just keeps hitting, and he keeps hitting the ball right on the button. Change up, left up, and right out over the plate. That one was not one of his better ones.
Now Ray Searage makes another trip with Jace Peterson up there. A 2-hit, 3 RBI day for the Braves second baseman.
Really? Okay. They got somebody up. They got another lefty up. So there's only one other guy down there, and that's Tony Watson. Boy, is he good.
Yeah. The Pirates are good.
Yeah.
And where they are is where the Braves want to be in a couple of years, with tons of young talent, a great new ballpark, and a chance to compete for division and World Series championships. They've done it right. And they had some lean years here, even with the new ballpark. Here's the change. It's a good one. Strike one.
The Braves are in a position right now to do that if they just get on a good hot streak. Had a great homestand, 4-1 on the homestand, but haven't been able to pick up a win on the road, and the road's been a problem. Braves have lost 9 of their last 11 road games.
And have 2 outs left today to prevent an 0-5 road trip through Washington and Pittsburgh.
Here's the change.
It is really good. Used to always say of Trevor Hoffman, he had a devastating changeup that he could change speeds with. Throw it 75 to 82 miles an hour. And then muscle up and throw an 86-mile-an-hour fastball right past someone. And another one takes care of Jace Peterson. That's almost unfair.
First big league strikeout. Cervelli's going to get the baseball for him.
So the crowd applauds the milestone for Deolis Guerra. Think about that. 11 years in the making. Finally gets to the big leagues. Here's Maben. And that one sailed high, ball 1. Ground ball to short. Mercer's got it. And that ends the ball game. Pittsburgh Pirates hang on and beat the Braves 8-4. They got 5 in the first and never looked back. Braves with 3 in the 7th made a game of it, but a couple of runs for the Pirates in the home 7th put it out of reach. Atlanta 0-5 on the road trip. Pittsburgh 8, Atlanta 4, your final on a rainy day in Pittsburgh, PA.